Tim Walz, the guy that the Democrat Party thought should be the second highest office in America, the vice president. This guy was almost our vice president. Subpoenaed and busted. This guy's going to get locked up, and I cheer that on. Welcome to Doug in Exile. This is where the happy patriots are.
Our faith holds the power. Don't give up on this land. So rise up and give us a hand. Exile ain't bad if you're here with me. Liberty loves company.
This was a brand new announcement that I just heard, but I'll give you kind of the unpacking of what this means for the elections also, which is my primary concern. This is on Fox News. Gunther Engelman posted it. Jonathan?
And John, before we get to that, I want to get to the breaking news we have just heard. The FBI has apparently just served subpoenas to several officials here in Minneapolis, including members of the office of Governor Tim Walz. We will bring you more information as we get it on those subpoenas. Meantime,
it's important to get all the rest of the office, Tim Walz's office, because you know how this works, guys. They offer them plea deals if they rat them out. So you want the lessers to get all entangled because they don't have the money for defense attorneys. They don't have the ability for themselves. So you just give them plea deals to have them rat him out for information.
the number of protesters out here at the federal building is diminishing every day, it seems. But the war of words between local officials and the Trump administration is only getting stronger. The latest flashpoint, as you mentioned, that protest at a St. Paul church on Sunday, during which several dozen protesters disrupted the service, screaming at members of the congregation and screaming anti-ICE slogans. In the meantime,
why didn't the ICE protesters go into a mosque? Imagine if they went in and protested a mosque like they did a church full of white people, they'd all be beheaded. That's all. Don Lemonades, such a lizard. Trump went after him. This is an interesting press meeting, emergency press meeting, where Trump shows up and starts showing pictures of the guys, the 3,000 Somali criminals they deported, hardened criminals.
People, vicious, many of them murderers. These are all out of Minnesota, just Minnesota. I say, why don't you talk about that more?
The press won't talk about it. That's why he's showing up. He's showing the pictures. The press, the media, run by Democrats, do not want the truth to get out about the criminals that Joe Biden let into the country.
Because people don't know. Do you want to live with these people? International murder. These are people that are they're apprehended and either put in jails in their country from where they came, or the countries respect us, and so they actually put them there. In the old days, they didn't respect our country. Biden wouldn't do this because he let them all in.
Remember when Trump said they're sending bad hombres over? He used our word to describe them, and mentally deranged criminals, and they all called him a racist. And now he has the actual bust records of the people. Some of them international murder in both countries. So this is the biggest win, are those arrests by Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, Dan Bongino, who are doing incredible work, and only liars tell you different. Here's Bill Malugin, new DOJ sources confirmed to Fox News, 6 grand jury subpoenas. 6 grand jury subpoenas. That's what a federal arrest has to do. They can't just go in like the state and directly arrest. They have to put together a grand jury subpoena. We're served in Minnesota today in relation to conspiring to impede federal law enforcement, including offices of Tim Walz, AG Keith Ellison, Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey, St. Paul Mayor. So these are all Democrat, blue cities. All the cities in America are corrupt because they're run by Democrats. And Ramsey and Hennepin counties. This is only good news, my friends. Here's Grok with what happens next. The subpoenas require the officials to provide documents and possibly testify before a grand jury investigating alleged obstruction of federal immigration enforcement. Next, the grand jury reviews evidence and may vote on indictments if possible cause exists. It's going to be hard to pin direct cause onto Tim Walz because just being neglect, is it criminal neglect? Is that possible? Outcomes depend on the probe's findings. No timeline is public yet. Here's more breaking. CNN airs a suburban mom saying she's flipped from Biden to President Trump. Trump was right about everything, she says.
The voter said she would vote for Joe Biden if Trump won the Republican nomination, but she changed her mind.
I think Biden probably changed me more than Trump. I think watching nothing be done, for 4 years about an open border.
Now she gives Trump an A-, loves the immigration crackdown.
This is CNN, guys. And she said, it's not Trump so much that convinced her, it's how bad Biden did on immigration. Immigration is the existential issue that our country has to consider. Now, selfish issues usually drive the electorate. That is, they call it table issues, cost of food, cost of living, what hits your wallet. But we do have an existential crisis with the illegals that are here, and what are we going to do with them? President Trump calls Don Lemon a loser and a lightweight.
So this is what the people are trying to protect, because all ICE wants to do is get them out of our country, bring them to prisons and jails. And
holding those criminals. That's all. ICE is demonized for wanting to get murderers out of the country.
Institutions from where they came. That's all they want to do.
So he's doing great marketing here because we want to brand the Democrats with the truth, which is that they're a party of criminals, a party of murderers and rapists, sexual predators. That's what their party stands for, defending that. That's their brand. Frankly, it's the only thing they're running on. And we hate Trump.
Patriots, and they have to be abused by guys like Don Lemon, who's a loser, lightweight.
He calls Don Lemon. Don Lemonades is what I call them. Lemonades. Here's FBI Director Kash Patel. Remember, people have been lying to you about Kash Patel, saying that they don't do anything, they don't arrest anything. Here's the actual proof that he posted. 1 year of President Trump. Since January 2025, under the administration, the FBI has worked with partners and executed 67,000 arrests. Can you imagine that number? How do you even arrest 67,000 people? It's shocking. An astounding 197% increase from your prior United States administration. I'm putting this out because, again, just to make sure, the people that say there's no arrest, nothing will happen. You notice people don't post that in my feed anymore. They know better to try and throw that BS at you guys, the audience. You're too smart to fall for this garbage. No one gets arrested just because there's not big celebrity arrests like Obama, etc. FBI arrests here on the left. 22,000 under Joe Biden, 67,000 under Trump for 1 year. That's Biden under 2024, 22,000, 67,000 under Trump in 2025. 3 times the arrest. Don't you dare say no one's getting arrested. Real killers, real criminals, real sexual predators are getting arrested. Very important people who we need to get arrested are getting arrested. Thank you, Kash Patel. Thank you, God, for giving us Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, Bongino. That's just 1 year. Now, here's Brendan Dilley. He said, I warned everyone that your, quote, wins don't mean SHIT. If you don't know how to communicate them to the boss and to the voters, if you don't know how to communicate your wins to the voters, they don't matter. So we have to keep communicating arrest wins. And it's a fact. There's more arrests under the Trump administration than any recent administration. More arrests under the Trump administration than any recent administration. So by whatever metric you're using to measure the number of arrests, Pam Bondi is the most effective attorney general. Those are facts now. You can bring in your emotions and your hatred, and she didn't arrest the right people, not enough of the right people. More actual arrests under Pam Bondi than any other one in my voting life. Now, I've been voting since 1984. This is all caps. Where are the success stories and other wins? Some people will never be satisfied, of course. The Department of Homeland Security and ICE must start talking about the murderers and the other criminals that they are capturing and taking out of the system. Trump is giving them marketing points. He needs this as part of his campaign strategy. He's telling us what to emphasize, that ICE is removing murderers and criminals. They're saving many innocent lives. That's another. Gee, is that MAGA? Is that pro-America? Is that conservative that they're saving many innocent lives, our ICE agents? There are thousands of vicious animals in Minnesota alone. And by the way, Trump said it's worse in California. So this is going to hit Gavin Newsom at some point too. Crime stats are nationwide the best ever recorded, he says in all caps. So there's people going, not good enough. No, they're the best ever recorded. Show the numbers, names, and faces of the violent criminals and show them now. These people will start supporting the patriots of ICE instead of the highly paid troublemakers, anarchists, and agitators. Make America great again. I support Trump. I'm thankful to God for Trump. If you haven't thanked God today that Trump is your president and that we don't have Tim Walz as a vice president, guys, we came close. We came close. And instead, he's getting subpoenaed, busted, probably going to jail. I'm Doug, in exile. Do you support that?